Hi, my name is Agnieszka and I'm a furniture flipper based in Sweden. In this video I'm gonna show you how to easily transfer this boring buffet and give it a new life. So if you are tired of your basic IKEA furniture, this video is for you. This week I'm working on this very basic IKEA buffet or sideboard that is made of pine. Pinewood furniture is not as heavy as some other wooden furniture and it's very easy to work on, but it's also very outdated. As you can see, this buffet has a few deeper scratches, but it's in overall good condition, which means minimal effort work for me. As always, I started by cleaning the furniture, this time using pink stuff. I like that it doesn't smell as harsh as other chemical cleaning solutions, and does a good job at removing any dirt that this dresser could accumulate. I also removed the old hardware because I have all the plans for these drawers, and also, who even wants outdated hardware like this one? So since I'm giving this buffet a full makeover, I had to add more modern knobs too. Luckily, the varnish on this dresser is very thin, so I don't need to use any chemical strippers or anything like that. Instead, I'm gonna sand it with 120 grit paper and next with 220 grit paper to smooth out the surface. For this, I'm using my Orbital sander Cat DX46. I absolutely love this sander because it's very effective and the sanding disc doesn't fly off the sander after a few minutes. I actually used to have that problem with my previous sander when the sanding disc just detached from the sander and flew away as I was working. That also meant that I had to use way more sanding paper than I wanted, so I'm glad I switched to this sander instead. As I started to sand the doors, I realized I wouldn't be able to sand the sides and corners without removing the doors from the buffet. So I sanded as much as I could and next unscrewed the hinges to remove the doors. For this buffet, I'm going for a one knob per drawer kind of look. Therefore, I filled in all the holes with wood putty and sanded the drawers smooth. Since my Orbital sander can't fit in the corners, I'm using palm sander that I found at IKEA. I've been looking for this tool for the longest time, but Amazon Sweden doesn't seem to deliver this to Sweden. Fortunately, I was able to find it locally because it makes my job so much easier. It fits in the tiniest corners and sands very effectively without hurting my fingers. No matter what sander I use, there are still some tight spaces and details where I just couldn't sand all the varnish off. Instead of crying over it, I decided to prime these parts. That's to make sure the paint will not crack or peel after some time. For this, I'm using a Schellac primer and my new Zibra Palm Pro brush. This is the first time using this brush and I'm already in love with it. The brush is very soft and leaves no brush strokes, which is a very positive sign. It's not often I get to work with colors other than grey, beige or a combination of both. So I was absolutely overjoyed to paint this buffet in this beautiful yellow color called Masala. And to make the work go quick and smooth, I used my pneumatic spray gun. While the buffet was drying, I started working on the drawers. I measured the center of the drawers and drilled new holes for the new hardware that I will be installing later on. My favorite way to paint the drawers is to put them back in place and use frog tape on the side of the drawers. That way I will be able to slide in the drawers almost all the way in and spray paint them, but the sides and the inside of the drawers are still safe and clean, if that makes sense. Frog tape is also the one and only painter's tape that I actually trust. It stays on the furniture like glue and leaves super crisp lines. Once the paint was dry, which takes around 2 hours in the sun, I sanded the entire buffet with 220 grit paper. This way I'm removing any bumps and imperfections without sanding off the paint itself, and I get a factory smooth finish. For the second coat of spray painting, I added some water to the paint. I realized that the consistency of the paint was a little bit thick and adding water would help with that. Although it's very important not to add too much water, otherwise the paint will drip on the buffet. To finish this project, I added some brass hardware I got from Amazon in this beautiful matte golden color. And that's how I transformed this boring and outdated buffet to this masala yellow sideboard ready for its new house. I can't get over how smooth the finish is, and the color looks so good with this brass hardware. So I hope I have inspired you to transform your own IKEA furniture, and if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of my projects. And I will see you next week.